Hello everyone, this is April 21st, 2014. My name is Roxanne Grinage. I am Legal Administrative Assistant, Case Study Referral, Marketing Project Manager, owner of Higher Lyrics Administrative Services, where we demonstrate an administrative solutions tool which measures and identifies individual accountability for official corruption, fraud, and civil rights crimes. We're here today at the scheduled trial of Faruq Robinson at the Criminal Justice Center, 1301 Filbert Street, where it has been continued to May 22nd. We have faxed in to the administrative judges our legal administrative assistant findings, wherein there is proof of violations, legal malpractice of Pennsylvania Code Title 234, Rules of Criminal Procedure pertaining to discovery, witnesses, and subpoena of records necessary for pre-trial discovery. And then we have found out that the Philadelphia DHS Contractor Children's Alliance is represented by a lawyer, B.B. Holtzman Kivitz, hailing from the prosecutor's office, the district attorney's office, for having high caliber prosecution of sexual offense cases for which those charges are false allegations against Faruq Robinson. And in addition, Ms. B.B. Holtzman Kivitz is a board of directors member with a fiduciary beneficiary status of Children's Alliance, who in 2012 and 2011 earned no less than $2.5 million for the transport of children, working class, student, and impoverished Philadelphia families. This is in the case of in the Court of Common Pleas of Philadelphia County Criminal Trial Division, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus Faruq Robinson. CP, there are 5 consolidated cases under CP 51 CR 00044732013. The purpose of this case study and its referral to criminal justice, U.S. Attorney, law enforcement, and our Pennsylvania prosecutors, the very same ones who achieved the Kids for Cash prosecutions and convictions and brought a previously unquestioned institution to its knees, Penn State, for the crimes against children perpetrated by Gary Sandusky through the Free report done by the Free Group, who is now merged with PricewaterhouseCoopers right here in Philadelphia, PA, is why we do our own e-discovery. We make video of our own case study so that we can use the very same internet technologies that allow us to network to also use the publishing capabilities, aggressive marketing to post, so we don't wait for sponsorship-driven dollars to, quote, pick up our stories. We're going to go down the list of the people. You'll see Faruq Robinson in the middle, holding his order today, his subpoena today, which is subpoenaed to reschedule till May 22nd, 2014. And we're going to list the mandatory witnesses that he is afforded, that he has a right to have entered, that have been circumvented and deficient for due process in the corrupt Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas Trial Division, who we are proving in this case study, as many others, actually deliberately, legally malpractices rules of criminal procedure pertaining to due process and refutation of false allegations to aid and abet the City of Philadelphia DHS public safety emergency kidnap for profit schemes. Okay, let's go down first. This is Mr. Gary Morlock. Mr. Gary Morlock, what is your relationship with Faruq Robinson, and what qualifies you to be a thinking, responsible community development leader to step forward courageously today?
Long-time friend.
Okay.
I knew the family.
Long-time friend. Also, aren't you Don't you consider yourself the stepfather of his deceased wife, Corinthia, the mother of the 6 children kidnapped for profit?
I would like to think she's pathetic.
So, get against the wall, I need 1 through 20 on this side, 21 through 40 over
Yes,
here.
ma'am?
My name is Sharon McLean. I have a Master's of Education in Counseling. I was the family therapist and individual therapist and couples therapist for the deceased wife, Corinthia, as well as for Corinthia and her husband, Faruq, as well as for all of their children, doing family therapy. And now since leaving the Wedge Mental Health Clinic, I became a close friend of the family.
Yes, and what testimony would you have that's vital to the person who's the financial incented accuser making these false allegations against Faruq Robinson, the mother-in-law of his deceased wife, Corinthia?
It's public knowledge that the deceased wife has had many, many problems with her mother becoming involved unnecessarily with the son-in-law as well as the children. Also, it's public knowledge. It is public knowledge that the deceased wife was raped by a family member. She never mentioned a family member, but when I did ask her, once being introduced to the father, if the father was indeed the perpetrator, she said that she replied to me she'd rather not say. There have been multiple times when I was in the company of the children, learning Mrs. Robinson as I did, I noticed that she was very, very close with her children. She was with her children all the time. She often complained that her husband, Faruq, was never at home enough times in order to help her raise the children. And when he did come, he wasn't there to support. The children if something had happened with the children had ample opportunity with me individually to report anything.
Thank you. And I as legal assistant can say that in gathering evidence, deposition, and expert witness testimony, I have witnessed and viewed a posting on Facebook where the financially incented mother-in-law, Corinthia, that's the mother-in-law, right? Caramia Batista. She actually posted entry into a contest, a cash award contest exploiting the children and her false allegations against their father, claiming that the money she was already receiving as foster parent and child support was not enough, and that the cash award would make a difference in their life. Last night, as I was continuing evidence gathering, deposition and expert witness testimony, I saw where the niece has posted a video playing with an aerosol can and lighting it with fire. These children have been using the cell phone at 1 in the morning. These children have lack of supervision. These children Faruq Robinson's children have been kidnapped into profit by City of Philadelphia DHS, who continues to bill for them, but does not oversee their care, health, and safety. Okay. Would you like to say your name? If anybody has a previous problem with family court or corruption in Philadelphia courts, you can mention that too if you like.
My name is Joe Schweitzer, close friend of the family, been actually helping in his household since back in 2008. I also had a prior case myself with having my rights terminated as a father to my own beloved son, Charles Jr. And that is also through
Faruq Robinson, father of 6, widower. I've been with my wife for 23 years. Her mother and her father abused her sexually, mentally, and physically. And what she did after my wife passed away was she got her friends from the church who worked for DHS. She got them to enter my kids into the system. She then used what she knew her husband did to my wife and got my children to say that. And that's where we're at now.
Okay, Faruq Robinson, let me put this in there as well because we market careers as well, provide standard access to career opportunities. Faruq Robinson is also a target of City of Philadelphia DHS per profit, shares that characteristics in the federal crime victim pool because he's an entrepreneurial visionary. He is drainable. He has a vision of house building to grow using the same internet technologies replicated nationally that doesn't just build homes and put people in them, but educate young men to provide best housing for their families and to care for their families. Say the name of your business organization.
Brothers Making a Difference.
Brothers Making a Difference. Watch for that name. He's going to be very successful. Okay. Next. Your name?
Patricia Batista.
Uh-huh.
I am Corey's dad's ex-wife. I just want to say that Faruq is a phenomenal dad, always involved with his children whenever he came to the parties and the barbecue that we had at my son's home. Corey is half-sister to my son, Eric, and they were well-spoken parents to their children. They never talked down at them, they always talked to them. He was involved with the children at all times, and Corey outside playing football with the oldest daughter as well as the other children. You couldn't find any great parents than these children have had, and I just want to state that this is a real shame that Faruq is being put through the system like this when there are other parents out there who are abusing their children worse than this and are not getting taken off, and this man is not doing that to his children. And I can say that Joseph Batista is an abusive person. He was with me and never involved with his own two sons when they were little, never bothered with his grandson until my son was diagnosed with a tumor and was operated on, and he came up to see him because he was going to possibly pass away that day. And he's never been to his home since, only a phone call here and there. He doesn't bother with even his own mom, and that's a shame. And or his sister.
Yes, Faruq has given me in his hired as client matter sworn testimony under penalty of perjury that shortly after his wife died, the mother of the 6 children, all raised together with Faruq, the financially incented mother-in-law asked him if she could use 2 of them for IRS exemptions. And when he said no, then that would be illegal, then she proceeded to come up with these false allegations. These are why a person has a right, even in the Pennsylvania Code of Criminal Rules of Civil Procedure, to face their accuser. They have a right to cross-examine their accuser. If the district attorney has taken up her charges and entered a probable cause argument that caused him to lose his freedom, be arrested, and threatened to lose his life, the Philadelphia Criminal Court Trial Division actually made him a, quote, offer of 20 consecutive years. If you look, which he denied, he's not prepared to admit any guilt whatsoever because he's not guilty. If you look at the Phila.gov court's official website, you will see the prejudice in the system, how they're actually building the technology to only receive guilty pleas. There's a request for proposal that has been issued by the Philadelphia courts to give best bids for contractors to come up with the technology to receive guilty pleas only. They're not even prepared for a fair judicial process. You want to say anything, sir?
My name is Mark Aarons. I accompanied Pat to the environment she talked about, and I never seen anything out of line with his children or anything like that. And seemed normal. I had no clue. It was never judicial, never out front. I would never known.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you want your name on a witness list to be to testify at his trial?
Yes,
a fair trial?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay, but you want to say anything?
My name is Lakira Stokes, and I just want Faruq to know that he has my support.
Okay. All right, everyone. And remember, this is the Federal Crime Victim Voter Statement. We're coming away from stroking the wound of I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. Yes, we are crime victims of felony crimes as described by our U.S. Attorney Eric Holder and U.S. C Code 3771, which does say that any time a system or process or a party has harmed an incapacitated minor or a disabled person or an aging person, they have no right or claim to custody, guardianship, representative payee status, and the crime victim's family takes over the rights of the crime victim. So Eric Holder has told us that felony crimes perpetrated by those in an official position to do so are no less severe and no less prosecutable. We are taking everything we have and using the U.S. Citizens Control Public Docket Database, posting it so when it lines up with a criminal justice initiative, if it lines up with a funding source initiative, if it lines up with a U.S. Senate committee, then the data is there, the claims data is there. We hold hope and faith. There are more good people than bad people, and God will have whatever higher power you believe in will have the last word. Federal crime victim voter statement is, if one of us should fall, or 10 of us should fall, or 100 of us shall fall, we will have a community needs-powered, personality-independent mechanism in place which will automatically trigger the rescue of kidnapped for-profit injured children of all ages, because they're taking our men and our women and billing for them in the prison system as well. God bless everyone. This is Roxanne Grinage.